Hey, you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you. Are you looking for the best way to promote your podcast? It's easy. Just advertise your podcast to your ideal target audience. That's right, listeners of similar podcasts. Podbean has the best and most cost-effective options for you. Just go to the website sponsorship.podbean.com/STR. That's right, your friends here at Scout Team Radio are hooking you up. Go to sponsorship.podbean.com/STR and you will get the best deals to get your podcast rolling. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Scout Team Radio.
Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over there,
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah. Good morning and welcome back. That is right. We are back and we are live. You're listening to Scout Team Radio. I am one of your favorite hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yes, all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, he is a great American. He is a great patriot. You all know him as
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is your boy Chris America coming to you live this Thursday, August the 6th, August the 5th, 2019. Loudbeard.
And it is not August.
No, it's September. Damn it.
I
Damn
can
it.
tell you've been off the microphone for too long.
Way too long. I mean, it's been since August, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been
Yeah.
since August. I don't think we've had a September show yet. So, yeah, you got to switch gears on us a little bit.
Switch gears, switch tones, maybe like the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I never listened to that band. Was that a ska band?
Yeah, they were a ska band. They had one pretty big hit, but, you know, they were
Was
okay.
it the Knock on Wood one?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You've heard that song, right?
Yeah, a couple times in the summer of like 97
Yeah.
when
It
ska
had
was
its- it had-
popular for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it had its run. It was a short-lived run, but it's still a run a little bit, I guess.
I had a girl try to teach me how to swing dance, and the only reason why I did is because I thought she was cute.
That's why most men do anything.
Any dance.
Women ask them to. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's why Lamar Odom's on Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, he's got an addiction. He loves them women, and some of those professional dancers, man, they can be pretty cute.
You know, he might as well face it. He's addicted to love.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, Loudbeard, we're addicted to the radio, and I've been fiending like, I don't know. I don't have a good comparison right now.
It's a little too early for you, I guess. You're not as quick-witted as you normally
I've
are.
been fiending like
dull
a
today.
meth head needing meth, or a Florida man needing bath salts. That's what I've been fiending like, a Florida man needing bath salts. There we go. The brain is going now.
Okay. And what have you been fiending on?
Well, let's see. Shaq and Kobe were going at it again. There's a new roast of Justin Bieber that you might want to watch.
Ooh,
coming
that
out on
does
Comedy
sound
Central.
appetizing.
What else is there? The Cowgirls signed somebody. Oh, this was something I needed to bring up. I can't remember when Kravitz said it, but one of the local guys said this, that he's predicting that if the Cowboys tank, or if they don't do as well, that they're going to fire, what is it, Jason Garrett, right?
Yep.
And then hire Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma. And then that's where you get in trouble there, Loudbeard, with your UCF Knights. So I think you got to root for the Cowboys this year.
Why are you saying I get in trouble? Because you think Oklahoma will go after the coach? What are you getting
They'll
at
go
here?
after your boy Josh Heupel over there at UCF. And
Yeah,
I think he takes the job.
I see where you're going. You've got your Kevin Bacon game going here. You're trying to slowly you go from Jerry Jones to Jason Garrett to Ezekiel Elliott to Lincoln Riley to my UCF Knights. And I get that there's a little bit of a pattern there. And, I mean, we're already saying that the Cowboys are going to tank. Now, they locked up their guy. They got their running back. They've got their quarterback. They've got Amari Cooper, their receiver. They've got some pieces. I don't want to say this because it's almost blasphemy on this radio this morning, but there's no reason the Cowboys shouldn't at least be good. Now, I don't know if good is good enough for Jason Garrett to keep his job. I do think that they need to be better than good, and they need to get some playoff victories. Maybe not make it all the way, but at least get 1 to 2 playoff victories for this Cowboys team to retain the services of Jason Garrett. I would say he is definitely on the hot seat, and if he leaves, Lincoln Riley would be a great candidate. He would be a great candidate, and that would hurt my heart if Josh Heupel went to Oklahoma.
Would it hurt your heart like Jalen Hurts?
Oh, boy, that guy.
Who, what do you have, like 4,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing?
This is just, it's not fair. It's not fair that Oklahoma can go through the players that they have gone through. The quarterbacks. I mean, this has become quarterback you, hasn't it? I mean, now Jalen Hurts, he was on Alabama. Alabama had that talent, and he was good. But he looks even better on Oklahoma. His performance this past Saturday was unbelievable. Or was that the Monday night game? I can't remember when Oklahoma.
I think it was
played,
a Sunday night game. It was a Sunday night game.
It was. I knew it was like a weird off night. So that game showed what Jalen Hurts is really about. This guy, he could be the real deal.
Now, Lincoln Riley has been going through transfers. I wonder why he's not getting your top flight recruits at quarterback. Because if I'm a dad and my son is really good at football or quarterbacking football, Oklahoma is like my first choice.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're getting good recruits, but you're right. We've got Baker who transferred over. We've got Jalen Hurts now who's transferred over. I mean, this is a quarterback.
And then Kyler Murray was a transfer too.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
All three of his quarterbacks the last 3 years have been transfers. Now, I get the first two because, it's Lincoln Riley. He's a newer coach. Maybe kids don't know him as well. But now that you've seen Baker go in, you've seen Kyler go in, and now you see Jalen Hurts just balling out game one, and he'll probably continue to do so, like barring injury. I'm sending my son to you. Make my kid throw for 10,000 yards and 500,000 rushing yards and get him a Heisman and the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, but the whole transfer thing, it has basically become free agency in college football. I'm thinking about it, and there are a ton of transfers that started week 1 in college football. A ton of transfers. I mean, Justin Fields is a big name. This is a guy that was a top recruited quarterback, comes out of college, and he transfers. You've got Jalen Hurts, who is a national champion winning quarterback, and he goes and transfers to another school. So I think as a parent, Brandon Wimbush here, local guy at UCF, and I say
From
local
Notre Dame.
guy, from Notre Dame. So you get all of these different types of quarterbacks, but if you're a parent and you're saying, oh, I want my son to go here, I want my son to go there, here's the deal is wherever that kid commits to, it may not be that final resting place for him in college football. They could get moved around. You're just looking for the best fit. Yeah, if your son's a number 1 quarterback coming out, you want to go there to Oklahoma because Lincoln Riley just churns out Heisman candidates. But you just hope for the right fit, and then if it's not the right fit, guess what? You're going into free agency.
Yep. You just go on out. And that's what it should be. I like the transfer portal. I like the transfer rules to be more lax. I know a lot of college fans don't like it, but that's because as fans we're selfish, aren't we, Loudbeard? We want, you got to stay committed to me no matter what it means to your life. I mean, I was sitting there thinking about that. Now, Alabama has, 500 national titles, and I'm being Mr. Over-exaggerating America today, but so they don't care when a guy like Jalen Hurts leaves. If they didn't have any national titles and they had nobody to fall back on, they get all upset. But right now, Jalen Hurts is improving his draft stock. I know, Scott Kaiser, Scotty K over there, he doesn't like him as an NFL quarterback prospect, but whether or not that's the case, he's improving his draft stock by going to Oklahoma rather than sitting on the bench.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
Alabama. And I think every kid should be afforded that opportunity to do so. You have 4 years, 5 years, or you have 5 years to play college football, and that's a short window to prove your case to the NFL. And I think every kid deserves the right to where if they show up at a place and, like you said, it's not a right fit, or another kid that's better than them just comes out and beats them, why should I have to stay and be punished just because a guy beat me out? I'm not afraid of competition. I'm afraid of not being able to display my game. And at the quarterback position is different than most other positions because once you have a quarterback, you roll with that guy. Where wide receivers, running backs, even offensive linemen, they all get rotated in and out to where you have a chance to prove yourself. That doesn't happen at quarterback.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So I have to agree with you. The transfer portal, it is a great opportunity for these young guys. Now, Jalen Hurts, just based off of week one and based off of his winning percentages in the past, I'd have to say that he's going to get a shot in the NFL. If he continues down this path and he puts up these electric numbers like he's doing right now, he'll get a shot. He'll get it, even if it's not a first round, first overall type draft. Even if he goes in the 4th round or 5th round, somebody's going to give this guy a shot because he's putting up serious numbers. And I think it's going to continue. This Oklahoma team looks like it's built to last, and this is going to be one of the top teams throughout the entire college football season.
Man, you know what? If Kyler Murray and Baker continue to ball out in the NFL, it's just going to help Jalen Hurts that much more.
Yeah.
Because it's a proven commodity. That's what Lincoln Riley does. He sends those guys out. And I'm telling you, even if it's not the Cowboys, man, the NFL is going to come knocking for a guy like Lincoln Riley.
Oh, absolutely.
It's what the NFL is hungry for. It's why they went after, that homeboy from Texas Tech, Kingsbury. It's just what the NFL is going after. And you see guys like Jared Goff now. Did you see his extension?
Yeah, Goff got a huge extension. And
was $100 million or $110 million guaranteed?
$110 million guaranteed.
Ooh, that's a lot for a guy that was considered an NFL bust a year ago, and then, I guess it was 2 years ago. What's his name? Sean McVay's been there for 2 years, and Goff was there a year before that, right? So he's been in the NFL for 3 years, Goff?
Yes, that sounds correct.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess if you keep that coach and that quarterback and they decide they want to be married forever, then I guess you give them the money, right? You pay them out.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Before we go on to the NFL talk with the Goff, I just wanted to get your take because we haven't been on all week because you and we had some hurricane business that we had to take care of. But this college football season over the past weekend, what are your thoughts on this first weekend of football? I mean, it felt good, right? Like that was probably my initial reaction. But is there any takeaways from this weekend that you can really say, like, this is something that you're looking forward to watching all season long?
Well, Loudbeard, I did learn something this weekend. I don't know if you know this, and Coach Willie Taggart had to learn it the hard way this week too. I don't know. I mean, we both lived in Florida. People don't know this. It's really hot in August. At the end of August, I wasn't aware, Loudbeard, that it gets really hot at the end of August in Florida. I'm sure even though you've lived here most of your life, you're not aware. I don't know if you know that you need to hydrate when it's really hot outside, especially when you're going to wear football pads and be running around from noon to 3. Like people from Idaho probably know this, that you have to hydrate, and because it gets super hot there in Idaho, like super humid. They probably see triple digit, heat indexes. It's not like it here in Florida. And that's why Florida State lost, is because Willie Taggart, like all of us, just forgot to hydrate.
Yeah, that's what we got to blame it on, right? That's the excuse. Yeah,
it's a fact. It's just he just didn't know, Loudbeard, and I can't blame him. I mean, who would have thought that you need to hydrate in Florida at the end of August? I personally would not have come up with it. I would have never come up with it myself. So hopefully they get that figured out and they can win some football games.
Yeah, I see. I thought the problem was they thought it was a 1-quarter game. So they came out 1 quarter hot, and then
Yeah.
the rest of the game they're like, all right, we already got a lead. Let's kick back, relax.
We can get
And
back,
they
relax.
blew it. They blew it. So,
They had everything going for them. The heat, the game being moved from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, the game being moved from 8 to 12, getting an 18-point lead, I think twice during that game. And the team from Idaho, who's not used to that heat, not used to that humidity, comes back and beats you. That's embarrassing.
yeah, that's a tough loss for Florida State. They're trying to, I guess, regain that swag that they had a few years back when they were winning national championships, and they just can't. The last couple years have been tough sledding for this program, and they bring in
4 years, man.
yeah,
Since
they
we've been
bring in
doing the show, at least.
oh, absolutely.
We've been ragging on the old man with the golden mic.
Yeah, and they bring in this motivational coach that's supposed to be young and exciting and energetic and just be something different than what Jimbo Fisher was, and he's kind of fallen flat for what performance in the field. So we're not seeing, I guess, what Willie Taggart was expected to do. We're not seeing that on the field, and I think we all kind of knew that. You and I knew that. Florida State fans, they were optimistic, but unfortunately, it looks like it's gonna be another disappointing year unless they can shake this loss off and really just move forward and kind of pull it together. That was a tough loss to lose at home after having 18-point lead.
Luckily, they play in the ACC. Their schedule should do them some favors, but then again, I don't know. I don't know how good this team is, and like you said, you and I knew that there wasn't much substance behind that rah-rah, go get him, Tiger coach.
Yeah.
It just seems to be all he has in his arsenal is just rah-rah, go get him. We'll get him next time. Oh, shucks, gee willikers. He just ain't got the juice.
Yeah, he ain't got the juice. Well, one other game that I want to just real briefly go over. I know this is a little stale, but I watched that Oregon-Auburn game, and it was one of the only games where you got to see two ranked opponents go up against each other.
Probably the best game of the weekend, too.
Oh, yeah. And Oregon looked really good coming out of the gate.
Yeah, they went with the Florida State game plan.
Yeah, but they just fell flat, and Auburn looked good. And honestly, I was impressed with Auburn, how they stood in there and came back. I think Oregon lost this game more than Auburn won it, though, because Oregon had opportunities that they just squandered, and you could just tell there was just too many mistakes in this game. But Auburn, huge win for them. It kind of helped the SEC out.
Yeah, Oregon led the whole game until the final 9 seconds. And you're right. They definitely helped the SEC out because had they had lost, that would have been like the 5th or 6th team to lose from the SEC. And it was not a good weekend for the SEC. You and I, people say we're just hating because we're UCF fans, but even though I'm a Florida Gator fan, I don't think a lot of people believe that I'm a Florida Gator fan. But it's just reality. The SEC is not as good anymore. It's as talented as it's ever been, but it's not as good. And people need to learn the difference, that there's a difference between talented and good. Florida State is a talented team. They have a ton of athletes, but they're a trash team. They're not a team that's well coached. They're not a team that's well disciplined. And there's a lot of teams like that in the SEC. You look at Tennessee, man. They didn't just lose to Georgia State, Loudbeard. They got blown out by Georgia State. That score was not as close as it looks. Tennessee scored in the final 2 seconds of the game to make it an 8-point game.
Yeah, that Tennessee that was the biggest upset of the weekend in college football. That was the biggest upset.
Yeah.
That is an SEC team. An SEC team should not be losing to Georgia State.
And it wasn't like a final second kick. It wasn't a final second touchdown. No, like Georgia State just straight out punched Tennessee in the mouth and dominated them the entire 4 quarters.
That's good. Good stuff.
Who else lost? Oh, Ole Miss lost to Memphis. American beating the SEC.
Yeah. Now there was some quality losses in there. I know UNC beat USC.
Yeah, your
so
South
the South
Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah, I watched that game. They didn't look that good. Jake Bentley is just not that good of a quarterback. They've written that guy too long, man.
I don't know if you know this, but no quarterbacks are good under Will Muschamp.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're not figuring this. It's like just like it's hot in August. I don't get why we haven't figured out that Will Muschamp's not a good football coach. He's a great defensive coordinator, not a good head coach. But if South Carolina keeps wanting to ride that dead horse, feel free. More power to him.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to last too long in South Carolina. I don't think they're going to accept another just subpar year, and losing right out of the gate is a tough pill to swallow to an opponent right there. It was the North versus the South. It's like the Civil War of the Carolinas.
And it was Mac Brown's first game. And good showing for Mac Brown. Good return for him to college football. I think a lot of people forgot he came back.
I know, I did. And they were celebrating. He was like, I don't know. It was just great to see, man. That guy deserves that. Such a good win for UNC. But that's an ACC team beating an SEC team. I mean, the SEC had some quality losses on their schedule this past weekend.
Yeah, they did. SEC, I'm telling you, it's two teams and then huge, ginormous gap and everybody else. We'll find out this weekend. LSU plays Texas. That should be a good matchup. Clemson plays Texas A&M. The SEC can maybe bounce back, or they can continue to take some punches.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, you said two teams. The SEC is pretty top-heavy. I mean, you probably can name 4 or 5 teams that right now are very good teams. The problem is after that, 4 or 5, when you've got your Georgia, Alabama, you've got LSU, like you had mentioned. You might put Florida in there, even though their game against the Hurricanes wasn't
to me, like
quality,
LSU, Texas A&M, Auburn, Florida, you can mix and match those with any other 4 deep at any other conference, and they're basically the same. Like you could say Wisconsin, Michigan, that kind of deal. Maybe the Pac-12 isn't as deep. Big 12,
I don't
definitely.
think the ACC.
Yeah, the ACC is kind of shallow as well.
Yeah.
I mean, who's the number 2 team in the ACC? I have no idea. Is it Syracuse? Is it Virginia Tech? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good point. Pac-12, ACC, I don't think are as deep. The other conferences, yeah, but it's
Big 12's pretty deep.
Yeah, I agree with that. It'll be an interesting year. Now, I hate to get onto this part of it, but UCF with a huge win, and it looks like they dropped in the standings. Like, what the hell? You win 60-0, and you drop.
It makes me hate college football. It really, like, this whole ranking system and everything is just so stupid.
It is.
I don't know what happened to make. Did they just say that, like, Wimbush didn't complete 50% of his passes? Well, you knew that going into the season that Wimbush doesn't complete over 55% of his passes. So why'd you rank them up high to begin with?
Yeah. I don't
It's just
get it.
ridiculous. It's just let's make things up as we go.
Yeah, and I don't even know that UCF can help itself, right? Like they're gonna have Stanford week 3 and Pitt week 4, the 2 Power 5 teams. So even if they beat both of those teams, it's like, okay, we'll put you up to 12, and then we'll slowly let other teams leapfrog you as you go through your schedule.
Even if Stanford and Pitt go undefeated the rest of the way, UCF will still never climb higher than 9.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Anyway, that's my college football take. That's the part of me that's going to hurt no matter what.
So now you ready to talk players that actually get paid? Well, players that actually get paid over the table?
Yeah. The actual, like, taxable income, not the under the table back alley dealings that go on in college football. Okay, yeah, we could talk about that. You were jumping into Jared Goff, man.
Jared Goff, Ezekiel Elliott. We're starting to see these huge guarantees now, Loudbeard. Do you think this is the owner's way of trying to sort of extend an olive branch ahead of this new CBA that's coming up to say, look, you don't need to force us into giving big guarantees. We're doing it on our own.
No, absolutely not. It has nothing to do with that. It's about the market just slowly rising and guys holding out. I think that is why these owners having to give in. Jerry Jones did not want to go into this season without Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah,
with
he
all
didn't.
the leverage, with all of the talk that he does, he was sitting back saying, "Oh crap, our team sucks without Ezekiel Elliott." And because of that, Ezekiel Elliott knew his worth. He held out and he waited to get paid. And because of that, that is why these guys are getting all this guaranteed money, because they're saying, if you don't put that guaranteed money into this contract, I ain't signing it and I'm not playing. And because they have the leverage and the owners, a guy like Jerry Jones who wants to win so bad, that is why these guys are getting that guaranteed money.
You know, it's crazy that 6-game suspension kind of helped Ezekiel Elliott. One, he missed out on 6 games where he didn't have any wear and tear on his body. 2, it showed his worth to the team where the Cowboys weren't that good when Ezekiel Elliott was gone. And then 3, he just used that to, like you said, as the leverage to get the contract that he wanted. He was kind of rewarded for getting suspended for 6 games in a way.
Yeah, he was. And, the interesting part about this contract, and I actually did not get this scoop myself. I learned this from Craft Brewed Sports. Our good friend Mike Berlon, who actually has been tweeting at us here. Thank you, Mike, for tweeting in. He said,
I forgot to log into
snaps.
Twitter.
Yep, he says, oh, snaps. Scout Team Radio is back, baby. Good hearing you fellas again. You've been missed. Well, thank you, Mike. And we also have a hot tweet coming in from Memphis Spence. He says, how many games more does Dallas win with Zeke than without? Good question, Memphis Spence. I'll get to that in just a second. But on Craft Brewed Sports last night, Mike Berlon, he was breaking it down for me. And this is where I'm getting all my news here. He's telling me that Ezekiel Elliott's contract has a clause in it that they can break the contract if Ezekiel Elliott has some behavioral issues, we'll say. If he has some trouble, he gets himself into some of this off-field issues type situations, there is a void in the contract. Now, if you're Jerry Jones, that is a smart contract. Yes, I get it. 6 years on top of 2 that he already has. You got 8 years locked up with a running back in a position that diminishes over time, and he will probably not see the end of that contract. But the best way to avoid it, just let Ezekiel Elliott be Ezekiel Elliott. 3 years down the road, when he starts fading or the wear and tear starts getting to him, just let him get in trouble. Let him go to a nightclub. Yep, it's all right. You can void the contract as soon as he gets arrested or gets just penalized for doing something stupid on the off season, and that's what he'll do.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a game plan. Have that little clause in the contract, a little Santa Claus in there to brighten your day. Now, how many games does Dallas win with Zeke than without? I want to say Zeke makes them a playoff team for sure.
We say
Barring
10
no
wins,
other-
maybe?
I would say 10 minimum, but then I was sitting there thinking, like, maybe they could win 8 wins without him. So I would say 10 to 12 wins with Zeke. And, they're like a 7-9 to maybe 9-7 team without.
All right, so I'll put that
Because they
to
still have
exact
some other
numbers
weapons.
for you.
Their defense is getting better. So it's not like if Zeke wasn't there, the wheels would fall off and they'd become like a 2-14 team. Maybe 6-10 at worst without Zeke.
Okay, so I'm gonna put exact numbers to it. I'm gonna say let's go 11-5 with Zeke, and I think that's being
the
being
bottom,
nice.
right? Is it the floor or
that's what I'm saying is my prediction for their
Okay.
win total with Zeke is 11-5, and I think that's
So-
being
and they have-
generous.
I'm guessing they have 2 losses to the Washington Redskins.
Yes, and
Okay.
then without him, I think it's a 7-9 team. So I think you're looking at a 4-game swing, and one player that could be a 4-game swing to me is a pretty valuable player. I don't know if it's $110 million guaranteed valuable, but yeah, that's where I'm going. 4 wins, 7-9 to 11-5. And the other difference between that 4-win swing is one's a playoff team and one's not. And that is even a bigger difference.
Now, I don't like that everybody's predicting them to win the East hands down, and they're gonna play like I've heard Super Bowl predictions. let's slow down here. This is still the same Dallas Cowboys that haven't won as many playoff games in the last 25 years as Andrew Luck has in his 7 years, but more like he played 4 or 5 because of injuries. Let's slow down here on these Super Bowl predictions for the Cowboys.
Trust me, I'm not predicting the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, who are you predicting to go to the Super Bowl? I found out one prediction on Twitter, and we can find out Loudbeard's prediction on the other side of this break.
Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter. If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst." Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Welcome back. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Once again, we are Scout Team Radio. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, Monday through Friday, right here on 12-Ounce Sports Radio, except when a hurricane is hitting us. We are in Florida, so, yeah, that's why we were off earlier in the week. But we're back, and that's all that matters. We're back and better than ever. Thank you all for listening in. If you want to get interactive with us, make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. You can hit us up. We will read your tweets on the air. We will talk about your topics. We will discuss your ideas. We will do all of that. So make sure you hit us up on Twitter at Scout Team Radio. We've already got Mike Berlana, Memphis Spence tweeting in at us this morning. Thank you guys. We really, really appreciate your interactions each and every morning. Lastly, all I got to say is if you can't catch us live, go hit up that podcast. Download it. Get us on demand. Why not? Go to anywhere you find a podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Play, anywhere you find them. Search Scout Team Radio and you will find us. We are there and we are everywhere. But without further ado, tonight is the beginning of the NFL season. We've been waiting a very, very long time for this. And this is the best time before the game starts for Loudbeard and you, Chris America, to put in our bold predictions for who we feel will be winning the Super Bowl this year. And I think I got a team in mind, and you and I, we might be on the same page with this. So I'm not sure what I'm going to say, but I just want to get your feelings. I mean, are you feeling pretty confident about a team winning the Super Bowl this year, Chris America?
I mean, I'm always confident picking the New England Patriots. That's
Okay.
always the safe pick, right?
Okay, I see what you're doing there.
But there's a new hot team out there.
Oh
Made
yeah,
a lot of moves. Made
yeah.
a lot of wheeling and dealing. And I'm not talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I'm talking about that team up north. That old Cleveland Brownies.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. Neither the Patriots or the Browns are my Super Bowl winning team this year. My prediction is a juggernaut in the AFC that came just short this past season, but they have the most electrifying athlete in sports entertainment history, and that would be
The
Patrick
Kansas City
Mahomes
Chiefs.
and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my Super Bowl prediction. Now, I don't know if that's the sexiest pick out there. I think it should be, but you're right. The Cleveland Browns are getting a whole lot of hype. Maybe it's a little too much hype. I don't know.
I want to
We will
see
see.
how the Chiefs do with their defense this year. They got to have a little bit more than what they had last year, that's for sure.
They're one offsides away from going all the way, maybe winning it all.
Maybe.
Now, I guess I'm going to ask you. So I'm going AFC, Kansas City Chiefs, but my NFC team, I got to pick one, and that's tough. I think it's going to be a challenge. I think the NFC is a little bit more wide open. A lot of people out there like the Eagles. I think the Vikings are on some people's radars. The Chicago Bears. You got a lot of teams. The Los Angeles Rams, and for me, I think I'm going to go with my gut on this one. And I feel like, oh man, I guess I got to go Los Angeles Rams again. I don't know. I don't feel good about the NFC this year. I'm debating between the Eagles and the Rams, and I like Chicago also. Chicago's a little bit more of that dark horse because we don't really know what we're going to get out of Trubisky. But that defense, you know what? Screw it. I'm just doing it. Chicago. There we go. I'm putting it in. Chicago versus Kansas City. Kansas City for the win. Book 'em, Dano.
All right, going Chicago Bears. So you think they found a field goal kicker?
No.
So they just won't need it?
No, they're going for 2-point conversions all season
All
long.
the way.
All the way. Now, why not?
All right.
Remember when the Steelers did that? I thought that was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. So Pro Football Talk out of NBC Sports, they gave their playoff predictions, Lodbeard, and there's a few surprises here with their playoff predictions. They actually did the whole entire playoffs. Surprise number one, they're not as high on the Cowboys. They have the Cowboys coming in as the 6th seed, wild card. Surprise number two, no Los Angeles Rams. Do you see the Rams missing the playoffs this year, Loudbeard?
Ooh, that like Super Bowl hangover. I don't see them missing the playoffs, but I just don't see them going all the way. A lot of question marks around Todd Gurley. I don't know that he comes back and he's the same player. He was a big part of that offense last year, and he just disappeared in the playoffs. I don't know if we're going to get the same Todd Gurley, and there could be a little bit of a setback for this team, though you still have the powerful force of Aaron Donald on your defense and a lot of great players around him. I think they still make the playoffs, just they don't go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Also missing from their playoff predictions, the New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Green Bay Packers, they only go as far as Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers seems like he's been on the decline as of late. So unless he comes back with an MVP caliber performance, the Packers don't have a whole lot around him. So I could see them missing. I could see them missing the playoffs. And look, you've got Chicago and you got Minnesota in that same division. I mean,
Yep, that's who they have going to the playoffs from that division is Chicago and Minnesota. And then they have the Panthers.
Players.
They have my Panthers going from the South.
Yeah, New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina. I mean, I don't think the Bucs will make it, but from the South, I think it's a coin flip between Carolina, Atlanta, and New Orleans. It could be any of these teams, man. And I don't know that I count out New Orleans because Drew Brees, even though he's getting older, he's still Drew Brees. He's pretty electric out
he's
there.
He's drinking
on
the same water
side.
Tom Brady's drinking.
He is. TB12 method.
Now, surprises on the other side. I mean, maybe it's not a surprise anymore. The Jaguars are who they're picking out of the AFC South. I feel like that's an okay prediction because the South seems wide open for the AFC South.
Yeah, well, you got Andrew Luck retiring, so that puts a dent in the Colts' whole
Yep.
whole operation there. And then
We never
Houston-
know who Tennessee is.
Right, you never know. The quarterback position in Tennessee with Mariota, is he going to be hurt? Is he actually going to perform to the level they expect him to? Yeah, Tennessee's a big question mark. And Houston's a strong team, but, Deshaun Watson, we got to keep him healthy. Him and DeAndre Hopkins, and, that defense is still pretty crazy good, even without Jadeveon Clowney. I would put Houston as the top in this division. That's who I would put.
So they have the Jaguars playing against the Jets.
In the playoffs?
The Jets are the number 6 seed, according to this prediction.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? I don't see it.
Yeah, no.
I don't see the Jets making the
Jets aren't
playoffs.
taking that leap yet. No. I mean, anything could happen. There's always 2 teams in the NFL, at least, that go from like being really bad to being really good. But the Jets?
Yeah.
I can't see that.
So the Jaguars they beat the Jets at home, then they go and they beat our Chiefs on the road, and then they play the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
Wow. It's like
Do you see another Patriots-Jaguars rematch in the AFC Championship game?
no. I don't see the Jaguars doing that. Well, I love Nick Foles. Don't get me wrong. I think he's going to be very good for this team, and they have a great defense, but I just don't see it's their year. And I've already picked Kansas City. It's my AFC team. Like, who do they have beaten Kansas City? I'm guessing the New England Patriots again.
No, the Jaguars are beating Kansas City.
Oh, you said that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the Patriots are beating. So it goes Cleveland versus Steelers in the first round. Steelers beat them, and then they lose to the Patriots. And then the Patriots beat the Jaguars. And then we basically have Jaguars-Eagles as their Super Bowl prediction, with no surprise, the Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's pretty vanilla on a prediction.
I think they went out of their way to get Jets and Jaguars and no Green Bay. That's where they went for the sexy. And then they're like, okay, now we're gonna go back to vanilla.
Now the Steelers. I'm not very high on the Steelers this year. I think they take a step back. I think Roethlisberger is getting 1 year older and is not going to perform to the level that he's had performed to in the past. No Antonio Brown, no Le'Veon Bell, even though they didn't really have him last year either. But I just don't see the Steelers being this playoff team. I think they're outside the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, especially in that North Division. You got the Ravens, the Cleveland Browns. I know nobody's high on Cincinnati, but it's going to be tough to get out of that division alive this year.
Yeah, that it will be. So what is your prediction? You said the Patriots to start off there. So who do you have going to the Super Bowl this season, Chris America? What's your bold Super Bowl prediction?
So I do think the AFC is a little bit easier to predict because I think it is right now just New England and Kansas City with a couple of wild cards in there with the Cleveland Browns not knowing how good they're going to be or not going to be. Or the NFC, I feel like it's just a toss-up, man. I could see a whole bunch. There's a lot of teams that I think are good, but none of them that I'm 100% sold on. I'm willing to throw $100 down and say, book 'em, Dano.
Yeah.
Like, I sit there and I think
NFC's
about
tough.
the Eagles. The Eagles, okay, yeah, but, Wentz, he's injury-prone.
And he hasn't
Cowboys, they're the Cowboys. I can't predict them. The LA Rams, there's that Super Bowl hangover you talked about. The AFC South or the NFC South, I'm not really sold on my Panthers. So maybe the safe pick is the New Orleans Saints, but Drew Brees is old and he could very well have that fall-off season this year. I don't know. There's not a team that I'm just, 100% sold on right now in the NFC. Not saying that there can't be one, but going into week 1, it's just too many question marks.
Okay. Well, here, what's the safer championship pick? We got a tweet coming in. I want to make sure we hit up our Twitter line here. Memphis Spence is asking, what's the safer championship pick for 2019-2020 season? Is it Alabama winning the national championship in college football. Is that safe? Or the New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl? Which one is the safer vanilla prediction?
Well, one has a real playoffs where the Patriots actually have to play their way into it, and the other one is already in the playoffs just because of their name alone. So I'm going to go with Alabama as the safer pick.
Okay. I see where you're going there. Okay. Go with that. Now back to the NFL prediction there. I'm with you, man. NFC is going to be wide open this season. I have no idea. I can't. I always throw in darts and I pick Chicago, but I don't know. It could be anybody. I mean,
but you're
really,
not like 100% like confident in Chicago.
No. Oh, absolutely not. Trubisky scares me a little bit, but I love the defense. I love Khalil Mack's defense. It is just that's going to help them get far. But
like even tonight, you got Green Bay at Chicago. You wouldn't put $100 on Chicago to beat Green Bay right now.
No, I wouldn't. Not against Aaron Rodgers. That scares me too. Aaron Rodgers is a guy, Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, I mean he's plays bad in the first half like he did last year, and then he gets all drugged up and he plays well. Isn't that how the opener went last year with Chicago?
Something like that.
Do these two teams need to be playing later on in the season, I feel like.
I'm pretty sure they probably play again late in the
No,
season.
they do, but I want to see both games in Chicago and in Green Bay where it's below 35 degrees. I don't need to see them playing in comfortable 65-degree weather.
Oh, come on, man. They have to play some games in September. You know that, right? Like,
Well,
you can't
I mean,
just
then they
put
can
them
play.
all
That's
in
when
December.
That's when they play your Redskins. That's when they play your Broncos. I mean, they do that with my Panthers. They backload us with divisional games all the time. Like there was one year where we played the Saints, we played another team, and then we came back and played the Saints again at the end of the year.
Oh, I've seen that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. That is ridiculous. Nobody else wants that. That's why what you're asking for is blasphemy. There's nothing good coming out of that. Okay, so NFL season tonight. Okay, we got the Bears and Packers. So what's your prediction on this game tonight? Final score, and who do you think comes out on top?
Well, first I want to know, are you pumped? Does this feel like NFL season's here, or did the hurricane distract you from all that? It's kind of, I'm in this weird state this year where I guess maybe because I just had so much going on in my personal life that it just now hit me like, wow, the NFL starts today. And I am excited about this matchup as much as I just complained about when it was being played. Green Bay versus Chicago, especially nowadays, this is where the Green Bay-Chicago rivalry needs to be. I think I'm going to go Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is listening to us right now. And he heard you say that he's been on the decline, and he's gonna come out. We're gonna give him the old scout team radio. We talk bad about you, and then you prove us wrong bit.
See, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. I'm
Final
thinking,
score,
okay,
19-18.
19-18. Okay, that's an odd score.
Yeah.
That's odd, very odd. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers' offseason. I'm thinking, okay, if you've had a tough season, you got to work hard, right? And I see him lollygagging around town with Danica Patrick, barely being able to throw back a beer, can't chug worth of crap. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, it doesn't look like he's been working hard this offseason. It looks like he's been playing a lot, playing around with his new race car girlfriend and thinking that, it's just casual hangout time in the offseason. He's not been hitting the grindstone as hard as he should have been. So, yeah, I'm going all Bears with this one. This is going to be Bears. I'm going to predict the final score to be 19-18.
Nice. Solid score.
I like that score. I do.
It's awesome, right?
Bears got this one, 19-18. I'm sure a kicker's going to have to miss an extra point or something for this score to happen.
And then we're going to talk about that chick, that soccer player.
Oh, yeah, that's what we need. Carly Lloyd should be the kicker for the Chicago Bears. I think that would be good. Oh,
Nick.
Man, Mike Berlon, I'm sorry, man, if this hurts your feelings. He said, Scout Team Radio, what's wrong with not being able to chug a beer? There's a lot wrong with that. I can give you a pass when you can't chug a Smirnoff Ice. I can't give you a pass when you can't chug a beer. Sorry. But you're the man. You were able to chug a Smirnoff Ice, Mike Berlon, so you're okay. Okay in my book.
All right, well, Memphis Spence has some breaking news for us, and now I'm going to put on my aluminum foil hat and go all conspiracy theory on you, Loudbeard.
All right, let's hear it.
Antonio Brown, Zenith Football, tweets out that Zenith is excited to announce Antonio Brown has chosen to wear Zenith Shadow this season. When you're the quickest receiver on the field, you need a helmet that can keep up. Read more about why AB chose Zenith Shadow at the link below. And I think that they knew this the whole time. Complain about it, say you're going to retire, and then now people actually care about which helmet you chose. Because had none of that shenanigans gone on, Memphis Spence wouldn't be tweeting this at us right now.
No, absolutely not. I like their hashtag too. Zenith is booming. Okay, that's a little self-awareness there. You're like, oh yeah, we're doing great now. We're
We need
awesome.
to steal that. Hashtag Scout Team is booming.
No, for a second I was like, is this the same company that used to make TVs in the 80s? But I think that was spelled with a Z, wasn't it?
No, it was spelled with a Z, yeah.
Oh, I was hoping it was the same company. I wondering what happened to them.
I would love to
you know,
be
ever
in that.
since-
I would love to be in that trademark, debate in the court system where Zenith is like, dude, they're stealing our name. We're like, no, we have an X. It's totally different.
Zenith is the TV Zenith maker. Are they still around? I haven't seen a Zenith TV.
I haven't seen a Zenith TV in a long time either. I think
They might make parts or something now. Who knows?
Element. I feel like Element's the new brand that's taken over Zenith, where it's like the cheapo TV you buy at Walmart.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. There's a Zenith watches. Maybe the company just
Never
turned
heard
into a
of
watch
those?
company.
Is
Yeah.
that what you sell? Is that what you sell your knockoff watches in the back? They're supposed to look like Rolexes, but really they're Zenith watches.
I don't know. It says Swiss luxury watches in manufacturing since 1865.
No. Since
Here
the
we go.
Civil War.
Zenith Home Electronics, zenith.com. Okay.
So they're still a thing?
It says, here. It says it's LG Electronics. Oh, it just changed on me. Something to do with LG's research company. It's a subsidiary of Consumer Electronics of LG US.
Isn't that funny how you've seen a product your whole life and then it disappears and you don't even notice it? I totally forgot about Zenith TVs until just now, but they were in everybody's house almost.
Yep.
'Cause they were the cheap branded televisions.
Yeah, they were. And I don't even remember them being the cheap brand. I just remember them being the brand. I didn't know any different. I was a kid. I was like, oh, look, the Z. That's pretty cool. I remember my parents had a Z
Oh yeah,
TV.
that Z was pretty cool.
Yep. That was like Zorro, but with lightning.
Is it cooler than the Zenith X?
Yeah, way cooler. That Zenith X looks like a knockoff. Come on. X,
Hey, you know what
X
though?
gonna
If
give
this
it to
was
you.
the marketing strategy, good on them.
What, to steal another brand's name?
No. I'm talking about to have Antonio Brown say, I don't like these new helmets, and then, oh, but this helmet right here, I finally found my guy. It's Zenith. Zenith or Zenith? Zenith? Maybe that was the argument in court. We pronounce it Zenith, Your Honor, not Zenith.
Yeah, it's awful. Either way, I'm not buying it. I don't like any of it. Speaking of Antonio Brown, he's pissed off at the Raiders right now. You hear this story?
Oh, he's always pissed off. Yeah, he got fined.
Yeah, he voices his displeasure for being fined for missing practices. Yeah, Antonio, you know what? I've been watching Hard Knocks. I get all the inside scoop through HBO's television show. And I know that John Gruden keeps saying, where's Antonio Brown at? Where's Antonio Brown at? At some point, the Raiders are going to be like, dude, we're paying you billions and billions of pennies. You should be out here playing some damn football for us.
I really hope that they do pay him in pennies.
Yeah.
Just a roll of a huge roll of pennies comes to him every week.
Yeah. That's
gotta
some
take him to
coin
the
right
bank.
there.
He's got to take him to the bank. Hey, I need to deposit these into my bank account, please.
The the bank would close their doors. They'd be like, nope, sorry, we're not taking your pennies.
Try this next time you go to the bank. I do this from time to time. If you're like getting a lot of cash, like $100 or so, I always say, "Can I have that in twos, please?"
There you go.
Because
And
they
then
always
have
ask
to
like,
scramble
how do you-
around.
Yeah, because they always ask like, "How do you want this?" In twos, please. All Jeffersons. Thank you. I'll wait.
You would. You would do that. Yes, you would.
You know, I got Antonio Brown cheap this fantasy football season because of all of his antics, and I'm kind of glad. I think I got him like 4th through the 6th round, somewhere in there.
Yeah, realistically, he could still have a great season. The guy's been rested
really
up.
He's never had a drop off season.
No. Now, new team, new quarterback. That's the only question mark that's there. But
Yeah,
guy's been a baller.
baller shot caller, man. 20-inch rims in the Impala. Holla.
Holla. End of the show. Memphis
Into
Spencer,
the show,
last
man. I
tweet.
can't believe it's already over. We
Zenith.
didn't even get to go deeper into my fantasy football team.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad it's over.
Make sure you set your lineups today. Don't forget. I get caught all the time on those Thursday nights where you got a guy that's out and he's on your bench or he's
So
on
who'd you
your
pick
team.
in the 14th round?
Ooh, yeah. Let me talk about that kicker.